2 o'clock on a Monday afternoon here as we head through a bit of a choppy equity session here. We're back to the downside overall for the S&P and the NASDAQ. A bit of a consolidation underway overall as far as the market is concerned for, what has been coming off of anyways, what has been just an absolute monster move last week. We're back to the downside ever so slightly here. This afternoon, a little bit of relative weakness still showing up in certain areas of the market. One of those energy stocks right now. Here's XOM. At day lows, essentially down 1.5%. Crude oil still positive to the tune of 1% on the session. If you look at the overall S&P here, very, very mixed board. Again, a little bit of digestion happening maybe after that huge move that we saw last week. Banks specifically, BRKB with their report over the weekend. Overall, the report not that great, but yeah, monstrous cash pile piling up, if you will, for Warren to the tune of $157 billion. What is that? BX, Blackstone downside, 3% worth. Tesla down here, 1.7. Remember this, we'll talk about this coming up, but remember we have this new 25,000 or 25,000 about priced Tesla going to be coming out of Berlin, it looks like. Eli Lilly, meanwhile, offsetting some of that back to the upside, 4% there for Lilly today. A few of the other pharmaceutical names back positive as well. NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft. Again, this heat map is set up to show you the size of the box based off of market cap, not necessarily the size of the overall move on the day. So yes, Microsoft is up 0.7, but the size of the box is based off the market cap, not the overall strength on the day. There's Tesla at 2%. Right now, just trying to bounce off of day lows around that 215, 216 area. Yeah, consolidate's a good word, I think, for today. We get not one, but two appearances this week from Fed Chair Powell, the first of which going to be Wednesday pre-market, the second of which going to be Thursday in the afternoon, right at 2 o'clock. He's going to be speaking at, it was called some discussion that they're going to have coming up on Thursday. So we'll touch on that as we get closer to that. Really light on the economic calendar this week. There's nothing really significant. The next kind of big economic data point is going to be CPI coming in a week or so. Back to the downside. Meanwhile, if you were with us in the pre-market this morning, we were touching on a whole bunch of things. Tesla was one of those coming off this Reuters report again. I'm sure Randy's floating around somewhere. We should get his take on this maybe. Tesla going to make this 25,000 euro vehicle coming out of their Berlin factory.
But it always does. Sorry, we're having some issues with our earpieces. We'll get that one fixed at some point. But Tesla, yuck, more yuck, down 2%. So about that 200 period moving average that didn't hold up. Well, spoiler alert, it didn't hold today. So Tesla is... It feels as if it's headed right back into 200. I don't know what to tell you, because on Friday, maybe the hint was on Friday when this was the bamboozlement stock. Like when the market was just going up, this stock, at the open, it was good, and then it fell. It held on to the bottom. You see it not hold on to 219 here, and pretty much, I'm not sure a reason why on this reversal. Oops, so they went too far in the daily. On this reversal, failing the 200 period moving average, like, are we not headed right back into that 200 level? That's what the chart's sort of telling me there, unfortunately for them. The other one, which will be this is my slap of fail on it, because ignored my note, which said play 18 in both directions on Rivian. The other 200 period moving average, I went for the breakout, like holding above the 18 level. It looked like it was trying to go. You can see it just fail the pre-market high and then dump. Got out quick and then did not reverse into this short. Frustrating. We had there was a lot of shorting opportunities out there, and there were a lot of shorts from this morning, but this was one I did not have. And I'll be mad because once both of these were under that 200 period moving average, it was just acceleration to the downside. So the EV, well, at least these two EV names, not looking very good. Tesla, date with that 200 again feels pretty likely at this point.
All right, so yeah, I didn't do anything with Tesla today. You can see I'm short everything right now. Apple, DraftKings, Intel, Uber. Uber's a good one. Uber, we've just been shorting here into what is going to be. Uber and Tesla kind of the same, right? They're going, nah. Uber, the reason why I like Uber in my long-term portfolio has a lot to do with Tesla and full self-drive and things like that, but we just continue to ring the register and be happy with this short here on Uber. We tweeted this out earlier on. probably about an hour ago that we were really having a good time shorting, and here goes Uber right now back into the low of the day. So despite the market turning red, we're also short right now Apple as well, but we're going to talk about that next. Let's go over to the desk and see what's up with Apple.
His target cut this morning, we were wondering, I mean, coming off of hey, Sharif's there, a 6% kind of a week for the NASDAQ itself. Apple, if you go back to last week, only 5%, so it's been a while since we've seen a little relative weakness. Not the case, however, today. Right back to the upside in a big way here. Nice look for Apple today. Even with this, I mean, it was Baird. They said holiday season demand is going to be lower.
Yeah, there was some conflicting stuff because we saw another upgrade. I believe it was DZ Bank with a maintain of a buy and a 210 price target. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like this might have something to do with China today because we've been seeing Apple sell off on weak Chinese sales. Initially, we had the iPhone ban with government workers, and there were all sorts of other headwinds coming out of China. And then Chinese ADRs did really well today on the back of this new stimulus. So maybe this is kind of a hope that the Chinese consumer is going to adopt more of the iPhone 15.
Yeah, we'll see how things play out, obviously, guys. But nice look here when the overall market dead flat.
Yeah, like this is obviously one of the stronger names. The market went red. It stayed green. It's still up almost 0.8%. I was initially short off of 178. So 178, there it is. That's Thursday's high. 178 was a lower high as well if you want to look at the daily chart. But that 50 period it tried to break out from. And then just looking at that 78 level, it was an attempted short. And I was in it very briefly, took a little scalp trade out, then stopped out. From there, went into the long, bad trail out. But it probably kept it, I kept it tight. I wasn't really feeling the longs, and it actually ended up being much better than I thought. Now it's holding on to this 178. I don't want to be short this unless it's underneath 178. I feel like that support's been pretty solid on Apple. Just because we didn't really say this, but I know like down it says Burke a trade. That's obviously Birkenstock, but you know, Berkshire had, and I'm trying to think of, and maybe this has happened, but I can't remember the last time. Whoops, that's not. I thought I just hit it on the. Where are you, Burke? There we go. Hit the wrong one in our drop-down menu. I can't remember the last time Berkshire made a move like this. Now, obviously, they hold a ton of Apple, and Apple relatively strong today. They reported one of the reasons for the bad quarter was the pullback in Apple shares. And well, I mean, to be honest, a few other things that they hold, like their big five holdings. One of them was Coke. Obviously, they didn't have the best year so far. The quarter, some of a recovery, but wow, I really don't remember the last time Berkshire had this kind of a drop. And I don't wonder.
That's pretty cool.
Like this kind of pressure. If Apple doesn't hold 178 today, like what's happening to this market? Because that and Microsoft, it felt like held this market up the entire, and have been doing so throughout the entire afternoon. And the first one, it looks like the first one to give it up would be Apple at 178. But I'm not ignoring what happened in Berkshire today, because that was the biggest candle on the daily I can remember on this stock. And you know what they hold, and most of it's Apple.
Okay, we're short Apple. Unfortunately, the most it's going down is like 20 cents in the money. It's not really doing anything. We've shorted it twice up here at 178.40. That's our current price. It's trying to go down. We keep on, unfortunately, buying these 20s. Like that's all that I can get. Like I have some 23s, some 24s. Hopefully we dip down. My next bids aren't until right here, 06. We did put it on our sticky note that we liked the short there today. It was good, well, it was, first of all, I forget what we were in. We were in AMD or something, and I was like, oh, no, it was Meta. That's right, Meta, $3 winner. We talked about that. But we were short there and eventually got stopped out. We really weren't certain of what we wanted with Apple. Apple today is up, well stronger than the market. The NASDAQ's down, and Apple's up 1%. So I think there's some weakness coming back in this name. So we're going to stay short now. And, hey, easy outs, man. If we take out the 50s, we'll probably give it a little bit more love than that, maybe even up to here, 75 or so. But we'll address that as we go. We want to stay short right now, Apple. My target to get out is 70 was my stop. But the fact that we're only getting 15 cents, it's like, maybe we need to tighten that up just a little bit. Possibly using this as our out right here, 178.50. But for right now, it's working. We'll try to hold the short as far as we can. And there it is right now, starting to print out just a little bit as, we'll put some in our pocket here in the mid-teens. Actually, I don't even have any bids out. Let's put something at 16, see if we can take something. And then my next out on this trade is at 178.05.
All right, we'll go on to ADRs here. Alibaba basically back to flat on the day, right to essentially where it ended the session back on Friday. We're a little bit lower even at this point. We were talking about this gap to the upside this morning. If you're with us in the first hour, I mean, there was a couple of minor notes as far as news catalysts. This one just talking about their AI. Going back to last week, if you remember, they got approval for this and then launched this next version of their AI, which is specifically to target ChatGPT. Nothing really came from that. There was no other real headlines. The biggest one this morning was talking about more stimulus from the Chinese government.
Yeah, according to Reuters, China will accelerate the issuance of government bonds and increase efforts to leverage the role of special bonds in order to boost the struggling economy. The finance minister in China coming out and saying that they will continue to implement a proactive fiscal policy focusing on improving efficiency and a better play for the effectiveness of fiscal policy. It's a little bit of a vague statement there, Brendo, but make a long story short, more stimmies.
No, it's a good word. Vague price action, I think, to follow that statement today, guys, from some of these.
Bring them over there anyways.
So like these names, okay, like NEO's down 4%. I was just gonna run through on my quote board because NEO's down 4%. BABA's actually flat, but it's down 1% since the open. Li Auto is essentially, it's up 8%, but it's flat on the session. I wanted to get to PDD before I get into to NEO as well. Pinduoduo, in terms of, you know what, this is the kind of stock where, like, if you look at what's been going on in the market in terms of, you know, the amount of volatility you can or can't get sometimes, Pinduoduo has turned into like the thing as a day trader that you want BABA to be. It's moving more right now, and I think the next time we're looking at these names, Pinduoduo is going to be on my radar. I think it was you know what, it was a fail not to look at it. This dropped. Gave you probably the most obvious dip buy you'll see in a chart today because it closed at 106.5. It fell $2.50 into 106.5 and bounced pretty much exactly off of it, only to go right back up to the exact high and then pull back in. That's the kind of trade you're really looking for when you're looking for support and resistance. You throw in the fact that PDD has been trending up on the daily. Like, how many Chinese stocks look like this on a daily chart? Yeah, the next one you show me is going to be the second one because I can see Pinduoduo and I don't really see anything else. And again, I'm not going to get into fundamentally whether it should be doing this. It just is. So it's been trending up. It's been having the volatility. If it can get through 112, it's obviously a bit of a breakout. That one stands out to me today at 1% when most of these names gave up some of the ghost back, including NEO. I tried the 8 long. It bounced off 8 early, got to 8.10, and then stopped out under 8. And that's the end of my trading for NEO because I didn't reverse into the short. I don't think the Chinese ADRs are always the best afternoon trade, but were NEO to pop back to $8, I think you probably look for the short at that price now. So NEO down 4 and almost 4.5%. I think at one point I mean, it is what it is. Like this, at the open, this stock was looking like it could be a potential breakout. And as usual, when these gap up, if you buy the tops, you tend to get burned unless it breaks out and consolidates over the high. Like it's just been a trap. You can go dip buy hunting. Even then, there wasn't one to be had here. But Pinduoduo, that is a very day tradable stock, and it needs to be on the radar. Every time we talk about these Chinese ADRs, I feel like that should be the first place I'm looking, not always NIO.
All right, we have Alibaba on here from a sticky note standpoint. It's a pretty cool matte black truck there. Check this out there, Sharif. Matte black there, Cybertruck. Yeah, that's pretty hot, eh? That one right there. I can try to maximize it. There it is right there. Yeah, some hot fire right there. Like the tires got this going. Ramin and Sharif loving it right now. So they're I have no idea where that is, but that's me. No, it's not. Right there. So yeah,
Falls.
fun times right there. Drake. Wow. Wow. Right there. Okay. So anyways, yeah, just interesting. What I want to talk about was obviously something less interesting, and that's a sticky note. We only wanted to look at Alibaba here today, right? And so Alibaba 84. We also did talk about it looking for 85 right now, a good little dip buy. So, you know, that was another name there. Put this back up there. We'll talk about the sticky note later. But right now, first of all, Uber, nice outs on the downside right there. Alibaba, there it is right now. So again, it did come into 85. You know, we were not doing too much at this point, but that could have been bought Again, I really like this level. It's still holding up despite the market being red today. Alibaba's still doing pretty well. You know, I like that whole talk about the China stimulus packages coming through. Broadened, what did it say? Broadened market access, that's what it was. So right there, $88. I mean, like I said, if this was, you know, onshore here in the United States or Canada, North American company, I feel like we wouldn't even be talking about these lows for Alibaba. But that's probably true about a lot of Chinese companies. So again, watch out for the 50-period moving average. I was trying to buy some dips, but today there wasn't really anything other than that 85.20. So the reason why we started at 85 was that's where it closed, a nice upside move. Knew it was going to come down today. Should have shorted it, to be honest with you, but we were waiting for dip buy opportunities. Yeah, it looks like the short is right. I mean, we're short everything right now, and they're all in the money, so it's fine. But for right now, Alibaba, and I was just saying to Aaron in the chat, it's boring. Like, it's just bored right now. Like, I wish the market would move a little bit more. You know, Apple's not doing anything. Like, I'm just scalping it out. Like, this might be the case today. DraftKings, we don't have that on the board, but DraftKings, like, again, just up, down, you know, have a nice short, just hitting these bottoms of 34, but like not giving any real excitement in anything right now. So hopefully the market will get picked up here in just a couple minutes and we'll get moving, but there's no economic numbers or anything like that. So we'll just stay tuned, keep on trading key levels.
All right, some crypto action today. We were wondering if there's going to be any crypto action back to the upside ever so slightly. I mean, let's be honest, it was a little bit of a consolidation day as we're seeing with equities, but there was this note on Coinbase as well, just pointing to what could happen, and you kind of touched on this a little bit this morning as well when it comes to this ETF. What could happen to some of these exchanges once this is approved?
Yeah, no, that's been my position, and I know that some people in the chat have disagreed with me about that, but that's just the way I see it. I don't know if you necessarily need Coinbase if you can trade the ETF directly with your broker, your run-of-the-mill broker, whether it's Robinhood in the States or Wealthsimple here in Canada. But the other side of the equation is that this brings in the regulation that institutional investors have been asking for with Bitcoin. A lot of money is on the sideline, not involved in Bitcoin because it's unregulated or seen as unregulated. So an SEC approval would likely go a long way, and that's expected in the next couple of months, whether or not we get the approval they already lost in court to Grayscale, and now it's just a matter of let's see what they do.
Yeah, a lot of charts looking like this so far today. We get the gap to the upside and then the fade inevitably, guys.
Dump it, they did. So obviously, you know, we went over this during lunch money that that old break on the daily chart didn't happen today. So that's a good thing about a breakout. You don't have to take it if it doesn't break. It is what it is. But it did break down at 86. So we closed 85.8, double bottom Friday, and a consolidation there. And it almost feels like this can be the pop and fade. I haven't traded this name, although I mean, they're not related, but whatever. Like Affirm and SoFi. Both of these, and to an extent, you could probably look at Upstart, it doesn't really matter. But a lot of these squeeze names from last week rolled over, and obviously Coinbase was one of them, but I think this move could be almost done, though. I'm talking about SoFi. SoFi was easily, should have been a short off at $8, but I wasn't in it until it consolidated lower. It broke the trend, which had been making to the upside very, very clearly on Friday. Friday was a failed breakout. Lower highs, clear channel, lower highs, lower lows on the daily. It tried to break that trend on Friday, rejected it, and then back underneath. So short into what was midweek support at 735. So I'm trailing this at 750. And Affirm was the other one that we got into. This has been a little bit different on Affirm. So it broke down Friday, support levels under 22, been short that, and then rounding into shorts lower and lower. Is obviously like it kept making lower highs, so we kept shorting it a little bit lower. I think I jump out of this if it takes out 65 and then look for the VWAP over under trade on Affirm, because it also made a bottom and then just made a higher low. So once it makes a higher low, that changes the litmus here. Like I almost want to get out if we take out 65 and then, you know, worry about a re-entry in a trade if it gives me that 22 level. So I wasn't in Coinbase, but we traded some fintech names which gave you, I mean, there's so many names out there that gave you shortable levels, but now I don't want to be diddling in the middle here. Either I want the shorts back up at the good prices, or we can wait and look for other opportunities. But Coin, as usual, it tries to break out through those high 80s, and even when I want it to happen, because I thought it would have been a good trade, it couldn't do it today.
All right, we're I mean, we just averaged into some Apple. I was waiting for 178.60. So if we can get something there, we took some 50s there. I don't know. If it comes up into 60s, we will get a little bit more short. We're getting ready to get some more short right now. Then we're going to get out if we take, what did I put down here? 70s. So, you know, we take it out, these kind of high notes. It's too bad we just missed that. We're actually waiting for some 57s here on Apple. This market's probably going to do nothing. So, well, if it takes out the high, it takes out the high. I mean, right now we are starting to get back up to the upside right now. So, you know, let's just hold our positions, hold forward here and see what does wind up happening. We're still a dime piece in the money on Intel. Ford. That is what it is. DraftKings as well. We've already hit that. And then Uber. Like, we're getting lighter and lighter on all these positions. And, like, you know, just hoping for something to happen here. Would be a nice move up. We'll see if we can fade that if it does get going. But other than that, man, crypto, I haven't traded any crypto today. We can have a quick little look at my crypto portfolio if you guys want to. Let's just see if it goes down. No, I have to log in here somehow to get this going. Log in right there. Let's see if we can get it going right now. All right, there it is. So Bitcoin right now in the last 24 hours is 34.9. Ethereum flat at 19. Ripple, nice move. Like Ripple in the last 24 hours up 9%. That's really nice, 71 cents. It's been a while since I feel like I've seen 71 cents. Solana had a great move last week, and you could see over 15%. Wow, so did my guy Cardano. What's up with that? I got to check their crypto portfolio right there. 22% on the week. I know that's crypto generally will move that way. Wow, Cardano leading the way right there on the week. Thank you, whoever that was. XRP and Cardano right there. I like a lot. Time to check in on the old crypto portfolio, and it's funny how that happens, right? It's like
Go Doge.
Finally starts going. Yeah, Doge was good today too. Doge nicely done up there to 7 and a bit cents.
I kid. I don't own any Doge.
Which is really nice. So we'll see what happens right there. But crypto making moves, guys. It's about time for that Bitcoin rally. I think we go up from here, guys, on BTC.
We're going to make an executive decision here because, let's be honest, Burke has been pretty boring today. BRK, however, was kind of interesting on the weekend. Wait, let me change this and then that, and then there we go. Earnings over the weekend from Berkshire, if anyone missed it. Long story short, they didn't do too well, and it's all Apple's fault. But at the same time, they have more cash than they essentially ever have, also all because of Apple. So 157 billion.
A lot, Brendo, a lot. And they're using some of that to buy shares back. Let's talk about how they did. Operating earnings, which is the money that they make from the companies that they wholly own, like the insurance, railroads, and the utility companies. On the quarter, guys, they made $10.75 billion. That's a 41% increase year over year from the quarter last year when they made $7.23 billion. So that's number one. Brendo mentioned this, alluded to it. They have $157.2 billion in cash. That's what their cash on hand is. They're using a lot of that to buy treasuries. In fact, they bought $126 billion worth of treasuries, yielding at least 5%. They're getting in on that game. Compare that to last year, this time when they only owned $93 billion worth of treasuries. Share repurchases, Brendo, $7 billion year to date. They bought back $1.1 billion last quarter, and their investment loss that you alluded to with respect to Apple, $24.1 billion L there. That's not small.
Obviously not a stock that we talk about on a regular basis, but I mean, 2% move, guys, for Berkshire here on a post-earnings trade downside.
Well, it's more like how it happened than anything else. First off, like I just got out of a firm, and again, if it's gonna break the channel, I'm not gonna force anything with these levels. Berkshire on the weekly chart, like nothing looks wrong about it on the weekly chart, and I even see look at it ride now, actually bouncing off the 50 period on the weekly. So from that standpoint, like it's not as if there's anything crazy, but I mean, like right at the open, at the open and then in continuation, there was essentially no bid on the stock until it got down to 344, where it's got a triple bottom. So obviously you can see a bit of support forming on Berkshire at 344. There's nothing terribly significant about that level, but this failed the 50-period moving average, and then everybody dropped a bid. So I'm interested into where this might settle down. Right now we have a 344 level, but this gets spicy if it starts breaking down further. Maybe retest the 200 on the daily chart there, 200 simple moving average on the daily chart. I think that would be an interesting level to try to pick something up, maybe for some kind of. It's like a long-term type play, and I've actually never owned Berkshire in my personal account. And it's got me at least a little bit intrigued. But that said, it's like, well, you own a bunch of Apple already, so then like, what's the point of what's kind of the point of doing it? And at the end of the day, like maybe it's one of those situations where you could say, hey, I feel like I have too much Apple. You get out of that and maybe buy some Berkshire. But I have not seen Berkshire ever do that at 9:30 in the morning. It doesn't make me get the great feels about this market as we speak. But I did mention that I was getting out of a firm. Maybe it's wrong, we'll see, but I keep seeing this happen in the market. You know, we're bouncing, here's a 40 handle range in the NASDAQ back and forth. So you get to that top end of the range and I want something at a good price, right? Like I want to short a stock that I really like at a very good price, and I'm thinking at this point, give me the over VWAP. Like that's what I'm looking to grab here. I want the over VWAP. I was looking at Rivian as well, and I was kind of thinking VWAP on that stock, but it doesn't look like it wants to get there. But yeah, I'm kind of intrigued by the notion of if we continue to see Berkshire fall, picking some up. It's just, this is day one. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. It was just one bad day for the stock.
Yeah, who knows what's up with that stock? We'll find out. I have just employed my crack statistician, Adara, right now. She's going to find out more about that Berkshire quarter, current holdings, things like that. We will have it all for you on the Market Recap Show. So join me later as she will hopefully get me some information, and we'll go over some of that. So thank you, Adara. Shout out to you for that one. Yeah, so I don't have any trading on it. The one thing that I did want to look at was XHB. Of course, we talk about this again on the recap show all the time. And this was the homeowners ETF, home builders, sorry, that just kept on getting to the downside. So XHB. And again, it's had a huge move over the last little while. The more and more that I do this recap show, the more I'm seeing like, wow, these ETFs, and I actually want to talk, unfortunately our chart's not going, but unfortunately I do want to look back at some of these levels that we have down here, and there's been so many things like XLU, XHB is another one that got all the way beat up, and here's why I want to find out, because I remember it was back on the July quarter that Berkshire released that they had started buying all these home builders, and since then it really tanked down here. So I want to hear about current positions and things like that, because look at the home builders today. $78, you can see it's down 1.5%, all the way down into 76. So an interesting little take there for XHB. But again, I think you got to buy it down here again. And here's another one like XLU. We've talked about, I'm going to say that's an AM. Yeah, so there's a, hopefully it loads, but this is utility. And that's gotten beat up as well all the way down here to 55, 56. It's not going to go back. But again, key levels coming through again today. XLU with the, there it is, hopefully. Anyways, XLE, XLU, they're all there. Once my charts start to behave a little bit better, we will do that. And then just quickly here, Apple just fell down into the 50s, getting us something out for flat. So we do that, but we are getting very, very close to tipping out on Apple for some, not for some reason. I mean, we talked about the market being a little slow. So we'll give back some of our Apple here, just throwing some ideas out. So here goes Apple. Actually, it has to break 75 for me to get out. So we'll, now this has changed. Now it's, okay, so I'm going to adjust it. So 178.75 we'll get out of AAPL for a 25-cent hit. This sucks, but I mean, I think there's still a chance it comes back to 25 cents, but we'll wait to see here for Apple, and let's go over, get some business done.
All right, rundown brought to you as always by our friends over at Trade Ideas. Shout out to Michael Noss, hard at work at a few things for me as we speak. So go check this out. Look, November 6th is today, meaning we get a test drive starting today. Go take advantage of it. $11 get you 2 entire weeks. Full data, live data, Trader TV 20, 20% off, $11. It's cheap. Go do it. Shout out to Trade Ideas.
I mean, the only discount better than that 20% off, and then also obviously with the test drive, would be buying shares of Dish today, because you get a 34% discount. Unfortunately, when it comes to buying stock, just because you happen to get a 34% discount doesn't make it any good, because the stock could continue to fall. So anyways, okay, it's not that funny, because obviously I'm sure there's people that own this stock. It sucks. This has not caught a bid, and it's not even looking like it wants to catch a bid. It's got a 23% short float. It's broken, it broke 5, it broke 450, it broke 4. It looks like it's headed to 350. And each step down, like there's been very little resistance, but the 450 level did show you a consolidation rollover. I'm not wondering if there isn't like an SSR bounce, at least some kind of an SSR bounce play at 350. It's so far down. Like I just don't even like, do we chase shorts here? I don't know. Horrible reaction to the report that they have right now. And if 350 is going to be it, I'd look for some kind of a SSR bounce off the 350 level. Just nasty, nasty, nasty for a dish. And look, the fade was obvious. I was looking elsewhere, and I probably should have been having this one as well.
I'm hearing everything you're saying. If you're trying to ask Brendan.
What up,
something.
Fabian?
Hello, I'm talking
I'm
to
like
you, Brendan.
Casually tapping
Brendan,
my
I'm
ear.
talking to you, bro. No, you're talking to all of us, my guy. All right. Yeah, so shout out to everybody there. All right, so Apple, again, did that little dance up. We punched out at 2/3 of it to the upside there as it took down 75. I don't know. We're gonna try to wait for that and see what happens here on Apple. But it's just going upside. The market's kind of doing nothing. I was trying to short because we're underneath the IB low right now. So as long as it stays like that, I mean, look at the NASDAQ, an amazing zero right now. So it is gonna be hard to find some winners there if you're gonna try to hold something, which is why I think like scalping is probably the way to deal with it here at some point today. We're just going to have to find some more names. When you get a second, let's call up that earnings board again to see who's reporting because maybe there's going to be something of interest. We're 10 cents in the money on Intel, boring. We're 40 cents in the money. This is a good one like DraftKings, but again, it already made its move up. We've already taken these out at the bottom. Hopefully that can come through. I keep looking at Apple. Meta, it sucks about Meta because Meta came in, we tried, so first of all, Meta this morning, right? Like, let's go, Meta, the number one stock. Well, AMD and Meta are dollars apart. But Uber is my number one stock. So Uber's number one, Meta, AMD 2, 3. But, you know, we had a nice long there. My best out was 317. So it did go up to 318 or so, fell back into 315, and we got out there for 25, actually 20 cents, it looks like, on the breakdown below. So right now, kind of just hovering around. Looks like this market's trying to go a little bit right now, so maybe that's something. But I don't know if Meta can break. That's not bad. 316.15 maybe. But again, like the market's just doing nothing. So we need to find it. We need to find something. Apple going upside.
I'd be hesitant to take a breakout.
Coming 179, 180. I want to be short Apple near 180. It's just it's not there.
It's not going to get to 180.
No, I don't think. I mean, I wish it would.
I'm very skeptical that you get, like, I don't want to have anything breaking out today, even if it's like relatively strong. And I want to go over to Microsoft because Microsoft's actually been pretty strong. Oh goodness, I got this wick. But anyways, it's underneath VWAP. It's not really giving you any reason to get in. Oddly enough, it's the thing that I just got out of. So I'm like, oh goodness, okay, well we get out in the 60s thinking let's take something in the 70s into 80 on a firm and it doesn't even get there. Like even on a bounce like this. So let's have a quick look at that earnings board because as you said, Uber is gonna be one. There he goes. Uber is going to be one, but I don't think, like that's not the only thing we should care about. Look, the energy names have been ignored at least a little bit. So I think Diamondback's gonna be a name to put on watch. But I actually like where Uber's at. That said, by the way, I own Uber in my account, in my personal account. I also believe like there's a few ways that you're playing automated driving. And I think, you know, Tesla, this is one of them. Maybe you throw in like Mobileye. Google obviously is another one out there. But Uber on the daily chart is basically like it is already just on the precipice of a triple top on Uber. So it's going to be very challenging. Come to my daily chart for a second. This is very challenging for it to punch through. And I think a lot of the rally that we had to end last week doesn't necessarily work in its favor. Like I like the stock, I'm bullish on it, but we're either gapping through when you don't get to trade this level and you're wondering, do I have to play like 52s? Or I think we dip in where I'm gonna love the 200 period moving average if we even sniff it again on Uber. So this is the one, and I do feel like usually this is a name where I'd say we should be trying to trade this. When you look at that daily chart, okay, we'll fade off 48. Like that's what Sean's in, but what else? What other trade is there? Like you look at this, it's Friday's high was 48. Its curl high right now is 48. if you're forcing a trade, you could be shorting every pop and then trying to scalp it, giving it 5 cents or so. But if you're not doing that, I think you're waiting for the 48 level. And I think it's an opportunity to maybe get that at power hour. I don't know if we'll see it at 235, but let's be patient with it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just a matter of how far it's run going into earnings, and then you run into some trouble on a triple top on the daily as far as Uber goes.
Yeah, we're still short Uber 40 cents, but I don't know. I'm the same way. I actually just covered a piece, actually, just right now. Up above the 50-period moving average. We'll cover that. Uber's been, like I said, Uber really honestly has been a banger, and we've gotten it today. It's like I said, it's the #1 P&L stock here today on the show. So that's going to be a good one as we go. I'm just looking to see if there's any news on anything. Let's check out Mr. Softy. Again, a favorite of mine to trade. We'll have a quick look to see really charts. Where's the bad wick? Oh, I guess it's just the pre-markets. Let me see if I can, okay. There it is right now, so 356. I'd like to look at maybe a longer time frame here in a 15-minute. Wow, really beautiful chart going to the upside. It looks like we need to buy 354s and stuff, so you're still a little way away from that. That bottom's 354.50. This is just a 20-minute chart, so you could definitely get out of the way of this if you need to. But, again, I like this dip opportunity. Look, I'm just accepting all these duels, but who else? Put something in the stock, in the chat, and I'll have a quick look. Tesla, a name that today. We talked about how key that 220 level was, right? But then it broke, and then it's gone. So it has never really, just looking here on the minute chart for Tesla, there was 220. So again, I guess it was actually pretty back and forth moment there. Did break it, came back up, went to 221. We really haven't, there's the 200 period on the 1 minute chart breaking lower. We're now seeing a retest right there at 218 or 217.50. What a good short that was on that. So many missed opportunities, but at the same time, tough, man, because you just saw it. Wow, wow, okay. I didn't realize we went that low, to be honest with you. Down to 215, all the way back to 217.50. So 250 in a straight line before running out of gas. So right there, you hit the 75 part right here on the RSI on the retracement, or I guess the move back to the upside. So you hit that resistance level, now making move back in. So let's watch out there. That's not bad. So if we get back up to 217.50, I actually don't mind that short. Some news coming about Israel and the U.S., but doesn't seem to be too much moving the market right now. Intel's at VWAP. What else? Burke. I mean, we can look.
Square's trying to go, by the way.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Square could be good. PayPal's a good one too. You guys want to talk about Burke? Burke right now. Shout out to
what are the odds?
Esteban. Well, I think it's because he's watching it. Nice move right there, Esteban, for that huge move just now.
We were just talking about
that could be Apple's strength.
We were just talking about how it wasn't doing anything, and like, oh, what's the point of having it in the rundown? And then it literally breaks out.
It's 800,000 shares.
Well, what is up with that consolidation? We've seen. Go back to Sean's chart for a quick second, because that's a very similar consolidation to what we saw on Pinterest last week. And then all you had to do was take a break of that consolidation for free money on the long side. And when you see that happen, and I'm not saying that. Maybe I'll just come to my chart so I can do it, but I'm glad you had that up there, because if you're looking for trade opportunities, I know this seems gimmicky, but trust me when I tell you. Okay, don't trust me, but just look at the chart. 41.50 does this for that long, and it cannot break down underneath. It also happens to be VWAP. All you do when it makes this break is get anything long at 51, 52, 53, maybe to 55, right? You're risking about 10 to 15 cents depending on kind of what you want to do with it, and then you look for a run into the high of the day, and you hold some in case it breaks the high and holds above. It's a very gimmicky style trade, but on a day where the market's range bound, if you're a day trader and you see that, why not? You even have the benefit. You have the upgrade. It's a double top. If you come to my charts now, because if you look at the daily chart on this, which isn't very big, like you're also breaking out. Like this opened 41 and failed it that day. So that was already on Friday, like it's the highest close it's ever had. So it's breaking out on the daily. Obviously it's an IPO, but it's still breaking out on the daily and then showing you that consolidation break. Not bad at all, but you got to trade around key price levels, and when you get that kind of an opportunity, I definitely like it. Shout out to, I saw Roblox twice in the chat. I saw a few people mentioning this morning. Well, it's down 3.5%. Look, the names that were breaking out, They're all giving it up today, and Roblox is probably the same thing, but it made its best effort. It gave it the old college try to fill in this gap all the way to 36.5, which is also the 200 period moving average, and then it gave it all up in here today. But it's getting right down into, ooh, you got a coffee. I can't do afternoon coffee.
Mind.
Appreciate it. Randy, I had to change it to a bear because the market felt bearish today. So I had to do it. But Roblox, look out for about 33.25. That's a big level going into last week for support on RBLX. I think almost everything you want to play the trend until it breaks. So I'd be looking to short just about everything on lower highs. That's going to give you that kind of an entry point. Tesla's making a good move here. There are some.
Tesla.
Apple's strong.
Randy.
Tesla's strong. Well, okay, Tesla's bouncing right now. It's not strong on the day. Is Tesla going to 200?
200? No.
Yep.
You think so?
At some point, yep.
Well, I
When
mean,
it reverse splits,
at
or
some
when it
point.
splits, I mean.
What kind of an answer is at some point?
400 down to 200.
At some point, I will get a haircut too, as well. But it is a nice haircut. That's what made me think of that. Little buzz cut.
Did you go today?
Yeah.
How's my guy?
He's good.
I like him.
Man, a few words,
right. Yeah.
One of these days, we're gonna get Randy to say full sentences again, but you know, we're
It's not
working.
part of his contract.
We're working back into it. He's too expensive for us.
Yeah, way too expensive.
This being a free show and all, obviously, you know, we're not going to be able to pay him to say anything because that's how we roll. But I'll give him this one. I'll give him this much. He did have a good streak going, but today I felt the need. It was just too heavy, the market, to not change it to a bear. Like, I felt like we shouldn't have had like two bulls. Like, you can have a bull and a bear on a day like today, but I don't think this is not a two bull day. It's not a two bear day. It's not it's a trade.
No, these are representing what we think.
No, I don't know, because I don't always have a bias in the market.
Right.
I feel like there are
good.
days where I have a bias in the market, and a lot of days I do not have a strong bias in the market. If I do, then I don't mind changing it, but I don't have a strong bias in this market. I feel as if you want to be open to both directions. Like this morning, I had some ideas long, I had some ideas short, and to me, after 10 o'clock, you're holding on to the ones that are working. I just got filled in Roku, which means the market is flying to the upside, because this is getting right back into resistance.
Oopsies.
This could be the shortest offensive of all time. I was in Roku this morning. It was a good short. We'll see how it is now. Because the market just exploded higher, and this just came big time into VWAP. Sometimes it's how you get the fill as well. And I was a little surprised to see how strong they came in. I'm not getting a firm, so that's not coming into play. This is now starting. I just jinxed this thing. Like, I just turned it to the bear. Well, okay, I did it before we came on, but thinking it's not that strong of a day in either direction, so we should be a little bit more open to both directions. And all of a sudden, the NASDAQ's back into green. I need something that I like to the long side. We're not going to get Apple at VWAP. Microsoft, where's Softy? I think if Softy gets to VWAP, which it's trying to do, Softy breaking VWAP would be okay. It needs to get above 356. Yeah, that was a short trade and I'm glad it was a short trade because I was not expecting Roku to come in there. But I had to stop in. We're just going to respect it. Let's see what else is going on because I see Softy. I like it if it breaks VWAP here at 56. I don't want Apple at 79. I want Apple at 78. Amazon. Yeah, I see Amazon can't get into VWAP. Amazon at the teal, Ponzi says. That's definitely a...
No sound? No, you have
What?
sound.
I have sound.
Okay, someone said no sound.
Okay. No, Amazon, yeah, again, it's trying to break a downward trend. I want to see it break this lower high here, get above 139.5. That looks a little better. Justin Berry saying DraftKings. That was fading, though. DKNG. What else is going on here? Oh, DraftKings actually looks decently strong. It held on to 34, but remember where DraftKings is on the daily chart. Like, it's at this peak on the daily. I almost think DraftKings, it's weird to say, but I almost feel better if it's breaking 35 for a long than trying to long it before it gets there. You know what I mean? Like, if it's breaking this high and squeezing out, I'd rather be getting it as it goes through and taking out this level as opposed to trying to go long when it's literally at the resistance point that it cannot seem to punch through. So something has to set up pretty good. I haven't looked at Google today, so I don't mind looking at that one. Chris Dillon saying it's testing 130. Okay.
We
I
wanted
like
Google long. It never went and got down anywhere enough for me.
This 15-minute chart can't be right on Google.
That's too bad. I love Google.
The breakout looks good on Google, but look at how tight this 15-minute is.
I know. I like the 128 down there. So we'll, I mean, again, into this afternoon, hopefully it does do something. It's now going to break through 130. Yeah, good fade top. We wrote down here today that we wanted Google to be down here at 128 based on just kind of where we closed. I mean, we closed at 129, but then a little bit of a move down there today. I did think that we could have came back in. I mean, we're still very, very long bias here, although I'm holding these shorts. Just think that we're near the top end of the range right now. The market is bouncing off VWAP right now. So there it is right here. As we reload, I mean, we did reload, but it's not a reload until you get out. So like right now, we're 25 cents again out of the money now on this Apple trade, just trying to give it to 179.10. Looks like it's going higher, higher, higher. I was saying to Dan Emmons there that I'm just going to be stubborn with this up to 179 just because, but it's not giving that pullback. I thought we could get a retracement back to the 200 and then make back basically what we lost right into here, but that's not happening. So right there, there's the top of 179.05. We hit that at about 12.54. So, you know, we're going to try to get it out if it breaks through 10s, which is just up here. So you're pennies away now from this stock being squashed. Like Apple's super strong off earnings. You guys could see that. It didn't have a great day, obviously, on Friday, but, you know, coming through, there it is. So we will just end it right now. Slap a fail and a flush down. Apple was wrong to go short, as per usual there. This is what happens. Remember, this is why I was like, oh, this is just like, ugh. We need to wait and be patient. So taking that a little bit too early, probably not good. We need to find things that are either at VWAP or doing something. Probably should have waited for the market, to be honest with you, to get back upside before I did anything. We just averaged into oblivion and then got stopped out. Palantir down 3% still. And this one's looking a little bit better. I feel like now we can maybe short this thing against 1850 or 1840. So PLTR is right here right now, which is not a horrible short either. But if this market's just going to hang out, I mean, now you're above. We were shorting below the IB lows. Now you're starting to break above, and then Apple working on the daily. Palantir could be working on the daily as well right now, trying to break higher. So I just think like we're giving a little bit back here, and it just sucks because the market really is just floating around. I will try a Palantir short against VWAP there of 35-ish.
Bradley, you read my mind, or I read yours. I don't know, one of the two. I just put a bid on Square. I did say it under my breath. Square's trying to go. Because I was looking for things that were breaking VWAP and holding above it that maybe I could go into a long. Like if we're going to stair step up and hold green today, well, Square's up. Square just recently broke resistance at 48.8. It bounced off VWAP. If you're watching Lunch Money today, one of the things that we said is, okay, well, Square was weak for Thursday and Friday because it couldn't hold on to the ridiculous gap up that it put in on earnings. However, its previous top, it held that, and it also held the 50 period on the daily. So kind of a natural consolidation zone seems to be happening, and now it's trying to break out from 48.5 or so. If it does this, I want to be long in front of VWAP, because if it breaks 49 and this market holds green, like why not? Like this is a name that feels like it's stronger than the rest. You were just pointing out Palantir. I kind of feel the same way you do. I always feel the same way about Palantir. If it's bouncing off an even dollar, like, look, first of all, it's trending to the downside. But if I was going to long it, when it's trending one way or the other, I usually want the long off of the 18. Instead, it's like play the short until proven otherwise. It rejected 19, and so it's stair-stepping to the downside. The only long I want is 18. And if you look at this on the daily, I kind of feel like if 18 holds, then it makes another move back into 19. Like that's previous resistance there. So I like Square. This looks like something that can definitely sit there. Elon saying in the chat, said you swing Square. You know what's interesting about that is if you're waiting until things calm down after earnings, I would suppose on a gap up, like this is where I think I don't know where the out would be. I don't really swing. I'm not much of a swing trader. And when I do, it's usually more off levels and not playing it after earnings. Like if I'm buying something after earnings, I'm buying it so I can hold it forever or for years at least, not usually to swing it. I usually want to swing. When I have swung things, it's been entirely technical, like 99% technical. And I always find like right after earnings is a little bit tricky. But this would be, I think, where you'd want to be doing it, like off that 50 period, looking pretty solid. PayPal, I can't really say the same for PayPal. Okay, no, never mind. Actually, PayPal with a little bit of a bounce. Last I checked, PayPal was still making lows, but a little bit of a teensy-weensy bounce for PayPal, down 3% on the session. This has yet to convince me that it's made a bottom outside of 50. I think that you trade this one at the 50 level, and I don't know, I guess it's like a short the pops until it's not. Not a swing. Yeah, good one, Trixie. I don't swing. No, just kidding. Pinterest, I really wanted Pinterest. Sometimes you can want a trade to happen, but if it doesn't, it doesn't. Pinterest has been trying to break out on this daily chart, and obviously you just didn't see it happen. It was a double top Thursday, Friday that had every chance to go, and now look at this thing. It's not even moving. Although the last time Pinterest barcoded like this, it was a good breakout long. So I was just talking about this on, it was Birkenstock.
Right.
Like if it consolidates this long, like why not take a break? If it breaks 30.65, I don't know. There's probably worse trades out there to risk 10 cents. It's got room to 31 even. Like that's 3 to 1. Like that's the kind of thing I'd be looking for right now. Like give me something where it could just be relieving pressure and give you a quick little 15-minute run, and that's all you need going into the afternoon. Because if I don't pick up Square or get a dip on Apple, I don't know where else it's going to be. So I'm watching Square. It's not doing much at 49. I'm looking for it to bounce down from 49 and give me something into VWAP. I'll reload a firm at VWAP. That looks like it's going to be a decent trade. As I just looked up, saw it there. Yeah, that gives me a decent risk to reward to be able to at least take this. If the market starts rolling back over, at least this is a short I can get myself back into.
Yeah, we'll try Palantir here against VWAP. I mean, it could break. I'm going to give it to 40s. I was just trying to zoom in a little bit here. I just want to try to give things some kind of room. Like like Apple dipped down and went back into 178.90 or something. We got out 179.10, so it's just like, it's just this back and forth stuff right here. So much better trading in the morning than it is right now. But that's top right there, 1845 or so there on the top. So yeah, it was a good one there.
It really was.
Okay, so here we go. Again, let's just wait to see if we can average into Palantir. We're only short right now at 30s, so not much really happening on that front. Again, kind of gone to sleep a little bit. Would be nice to see it make the move back in. That is PLTR. Uber's moving again. DraftKings, I'm like, we have 10% left of DraftKings. I have like 15% left of Intel. Uber, like really light on Uber right now. Back in as we got the low of the day there on Uber. Like when that came into this level, like these are things that you have to take out. Like when they come in, you get them out. Like it's just, sometimes it's that simple, but again, nice little move there. I think we should just maybe short the Qs. I mean, the market is at the highs there. Go AM. No, sorry, Qs is NASDAQ. I think all these ETFs. 368, come on, let's go. 368 and change. Nah, but see, when I look at this, the daily range, we're already above it. You're better off, well, 373 is not coming into play. The reason why we say, let me go to the TQs quickly, just to see if we can get a little bit of a better look. Maybe I don't have those wicks on there. TQ's triple, right? So it's still the Qs. Let's go. All right, so yeah, same kind of look, obviously. Just want to make sure you're still at VWAP. You're still trying to give this some room. I just wonder if this day is just back and forth here. We don't have a huge earnings event tonight or anything like that. So I could see this going back and forth a little bit here on the TQQ. Let's start a small position. Right now, 81 if we can get it. We could punch some 80s just to start it. Let's wait to see if we get 81s. If we miss 80, we'll try to punch them to take a quick position. There it is. We got it, obviously, as it goes back up. And then I just want to look. I mean, we could do a little bit more work on this. That's 38. I mean, what about taking out the top as our out? But again, we've just sort of been watching Apple drift up. The market's going to go with it. So we got to be careful on this one. Triple, remember, it's triple levered here. Yeah, I mean, maybe just 40. Or sorry, 38. Right there, that's 38. That little wick higher there. I don't know. What does this market want to do, honestly, guys? Like, we don't have any big numbers coming, do we, this week? At the end of the week, maybe, but not.
This is the lightest economic calendar. I think it's a pretty light economic calendar.
Making trades for making trades is not a great idea.
You should. That's the thing. Like, I don't want to force anything, and I appreciate your reliable Rudy, because this is the type of afternoon. Like, if there's like a low float runner or something breaking out, or like something with some action to it, this is exactly where you want to be. Like, you want to find something that's going. BTAI, Yeah, I don't love it. Like, okay, fine. It's making a nice little wedge here. It's trying to break back out. The volume's not that great. Like, it's the kind of thing that you could sit in it and give your stop to the bottom, but without the upside of, and I'm not a swing trader, but without the upside of, okay, well, I'm holding it for a couple of days off the $4 level. As a day trader, you're either in it long off the bottom and not chasing this move or looking for it to break out and start squeezing people. And I talk about being patient. I really should have just gone long square where it was. Like that first dip, like the slight hesitation, it broke, this was all the pullback you got into 48.80, and then it started going. I didn't want to get too far out in front of VWAP there, but this feels like it's at least one. If we're going to go, this has a decent chance to go. And I still have my eye on Dish for a bit of a relief bounce. So 34% to the downside. It's trying to make a bounce. It never got to 350. I'm looking for this to maybe break, wick the 350 level, and then maybe try to catch some kind of a SSR bounce, which they've been few and far between. But if you got one, like that's 420 into 4. I don't love that trade because 420 is kind of just a fun number. It doesn't really mean anything. I almost want it to be like an even dollar level or a 350 level on Dish. But it's on the radar at least. 34% to the downside. There's some yuck, stocks.
Yeah, there's not some bad names out there.
Like this is just another example of it. And when people, there's always like the whole, hey, buy quality. There's a reason people say that, right? And sometimes this can be an example of it. I'm not thinking it's a long for any reason other than SSR bounce, possibly off 350. Like I'm not saying buy and hold or swing this. Not at all whatsoever.
Yeah, we're just going to wait. I was looking at the TQs and I said, why not just wait to see if we could test the high of the day? Like, I don't think there's enough action in this market to get back up above the high. It could just drift up here, and if it does, then that's when I want to get some more short. So we'll sit in this for now. I'm not going to average into it until we get closer to 38, and then I want to put something much bigger on at these levels, 38.06, 38.07. Thanks for the notes there. I think it was Ozan or somebody in the chat there saying that we did have the double Powell going on this week as well. So yeah, but that's during the week. I've already think that Powell's already given the all clear, and so has the Fed to buy everything. We've already talked about that. We had the best week all year last week on the back of that. So I'm already all about that. I just think the market wants to come back in a little bit now. It's been such a nice run. And now we're back up here at VWAP, so that's why trying to favor the short. We got stopped out on Apple trying to do this trade, so that didn't work out well. Hopefully TQs will bring us to the promised land, and I keep answering the same question all the time, but we do have new viewers, so why are we on TQ? It's just because I know it's the exact same as SQQ, it's just we don't have any borrow costs on this name, so to trade the SQ, it's you want to go long thinking the market's going to go down. And vice versa the TQs is not vice versa. Well, it is to that, but this is, if the market goes up, so will this. So again, these are both 3 times right now on the return of the index. So we'll go short here, hoping that we could get something at the end for the TQs on the back. So we're going to try to get some more down here at 37.93. And again, like I said, pick your poison. Like if this is something that you want to trade, then by all means, go ahead and get in there and do that, because you could short SQ or TQ. It doesn't matter whichever way you want to go. It's just for us, I don't have that extra aspect of borrow.
You know what?
So that's why I do it that way.
I'm going to make a suggestion. I hate the phrase pick your poison. You know what I mean? Because like really it just comes down to like making a choice. So yeah. I like pick your dessert. Like that's what I want to choose between. Like I want to feel like when I'm making a choice, it's like when they roll the dessert out, and you know how I am. When they roll the dessert out when you're at a restaurant, and there's like, and they all look fantastic, you're just like, yes. And you can just say that. But again, I just rather make a good choice. Because when you're trading, you get to literally choose what you think is the best. So you're not really picking poison.
No, I'm just saying you can choose TQs or SQs.
I know. I'm always thinking about food. That's how I roll, man. Or Don Cherry, pick your cannoli.
Yeah, guys, do not eat poison.
But you could.
Is what Neil's trying to get at.
I'll eat cannoli. Like, for anyone that watched the show, I don't remember when this was, but Sean brought in this cannoli one time.
Yeah.
And you guys know how I am with food. But like that was I'm not making this up. That was one of the best things I've ever eaten in my entire life. Like and if you saw the clip, like like I had a different face on than when I ate like a fritter or something. Like it was freaking delicious. But this market, I should already have Square, but we're now at we're over VWAP on a firm. So these are the shorts that I'm looking for into 22. So I want the overfills. We got out of it the fourth time we shorted it. And that's the first time we took an L on it. And I think, and that's in the last, I want to get something in this 21.90 to 22. Until it breaks out 22, I still want to give it a chance. And then Dish for the SSR bounce. I was looking at Plug. Someone had mentioned look at Plug. It's already bounced off $6. That one was falling like an absolute rock. Dish doesn't seem to want to bounce. Like, that's not doing anything. Apple is still very strong. I just don't want to chase that move. I think I might just go into Square off 49. Just wet the beak off the 49 level. At least this is trending up, and it's showing me signs of strength with a nice stair step up. And the other name I was looking at, just as Sean was talking there, was Micron. I really dislike breakouts in this kind of a market. But Micron, it's up 0.5%. On the daily, it's actually broken on the daily. So it's through its local resistance about 30 cents ago. But it's not through Friday's high. So it's right back above that previous resistance on the daily. I think if it could, this has room to run. It's a very good cyclical stock, and people have been saying the bottoms are in for chips, and this is definitely demonstrating it. But I'd much rather look for the stair step, kind of like Square, like buy the dip instead of take out the high of the day. So Square I like. I'll try to get the dip in the evens. And Micron, I think I like it back into 72.30. Because there's a chance you could just play 30-cent range, and 72.60. And if it's a 30-cent range, I need to be able to take that range. If you take a breakout and the market does nothing, you're just kind of screwed. Yeah. So that's why I'm not favoring breakouts. I'm not going to force a trade just because it looks like a breakout on the chart. 9:30 is when you want those trades.
Yeah, we're close now. I mean, stock's starting to go back up to the upside rate now, and it doesn't look like much is going on. Do we have Danielle Shea today or not? I saw her on the calendar. Thought we did. Okay, so no Danielle Shea today. We'll see. I know she's renovating and moving and all this kind of stuff. So I don't know if we'll have her on Thursday. I'll double check that calendar as well. One name that might have been the good short. We're back into Palantir, and not back in again. Now we have a decent price, 36s right now on Palantir, and our out. Again, it's just like really small outs here, like breaking through 45, and we can get away from Palantir, but it seems like this name just wants to keep on going to the upside. So let's put in our stop, 1846, break on Palantir back up as we're looking at this level right there. Just thinking that we weren't going to get back up to the highs again, and it looks like we just did right there. So not the highs of the morning, but again, I just thought that we could kind of hover around VWAP, and because we've had a nice move up, maybe we do retrace back in. Remember, we do have our hope that the TQs will eventually do something. And since we've had this position, although Palantir going upside, the market doing nothing. And that's why we said that maybe it's a better idea when the market's kind of not doing anything to either trade stocks that are like really super hot, maybe moving around, which I just can't really, that's why I went over to Uber. I talked about Uber being a good stock today, and it is. So that's nice. But the market right now not really doing anything. I think that's a good thing to do. Favor stuff like that. When the market's not moving, maybe just trade the market and try to figure out the tops and the bottoms, because a lot of the time stocks will start to drift on you. And that's what's happening right here with Intel. As look, market not doing anything, Intel drifts up. So we have the short now at 15. We just put it on right now. We've had it on since here. And look at this move all the way down. So it's not even that dramatic. It's like 20 cents. But still, the bottom of the day and the top of the day in like 20 minutes. Let's see if we can rinse and repeat that again. See if we get something out around 10s. Like, it's really pathetic, but maybe we can get something out around 10s there, and then we'll see for Intel back down into the downside. And I might as well just get off the TQQs. It doesn't look like anything's happening right there, but for right now, we'll see about Intel back through 10, and if it gets lower than that, then good on us. But I don't really have too many ideas there for Intel other than what we're already at right now. And that's going to be a stop if it breaks above 20. So that's what our plan of action is here for INTC.
Yeah, so I am into a firm. It broke that VWAP, so looking for the overfills there. And then another one. I'm in SoFi, but I'm looking for the curl off of 750. If it breaks 50, holds 55, I want to curl into that one. Just relatively weak name. Been dumping pretty much all day. Pat with Rivian and 3 exclamation marks.
Ooh, those are the good ones.
I'm not sure. Okay, so we can talk Rivian. I mean, I don't want to force any trades. We're waiting for key levels. I'm curious as to what we're excited about with Rivian because I traded a couple of times. I'll slap the fail on Rivian. I did not follow my notes today on Rivian. So while, hey, look, this is like getting out of Rivian early off the 18 long, which is easy to do at $18 because if it breaks 18, you just get out. But getting out of that was probably the best thing I could have done all day today. But I did have the intention on reversing underneath, finding a short. If it failed the 200-period moving average, finding a short was part of the plan. Obviously, the best laid plans. It's like Mike Tyson said, right? I mean, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. Well, when 9:30 hits and a few things start to set up at the same time, you might find yourself in a situation where you don't quickly make the reversal that you know you should have. So a bit of a mistake there for me. But I want to add to a firm if I can find a good place to do it. I just don't see a trade on Rivian. It feels like this is a short till it's not when I see that on the daily chart. Like everything about this and the fact that it just rejected the 200-period moving average on the daily, I don't see why it doesn't try to at least trend back into 15. It's how Tesla kind of feels, only weaker in some ways. So if it's weaker than Tesla, then that's not very good. I have to acknowledge this, but Birkenstock is almost at an all-time high, which isn't saying much. I know it's in. Look, I know this is an IPO, but it get dipped and then it made another top. It hasn't done 1 million shares, but the sheer irony of the fact that we were like, it's not really doing much of anything, and now it's about to make an all-time high in about 6 cents. I'm going to have this on my radar because who knows, if it starts going ham after taking out an all-time high and pops up in volume, that could get very interesting. Tisha, that Life W stock, I didn't even pay for locates on this. I was going to and then opted not to. Now, if you're playing it off of VWAP, go for it. There's nothing wrong with this, but like the spread is telling me there's not a lot of action. For a 59 million share volume stock, this is really not doing anything. Like it needs to break $11. If it breaks $11, anything could happen. Just be careful with this. Already up like 270%, and this is just pulled back $7. So. It was obviously a lot crazier before. So Affirm is the only new position. I waited for it to get above VWAP so I could short it to that high, where we started this entire party at about 1050.
Yeah, I don't know. It's 307 already, guys. Like, we just got something out at 75 on the TQs. Like, I don't know. Would like to get a little bit more of a move to the downside. The 200 period is 70, so we'll take a 75, and then just. Honestly, man, we took out 5%. Like, would like to see something happen. We did get, you want something so exciting? Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
We took out Intel there. It looks decent on a chart, but it's really just still 5 cents. I think we got an 08 and a 10 there. Hopefully it comes back in. We just shorted 15s or 16s, whatever that was. Well, it's my price, 15. So 15 short, some 10s there. I don't know. Hopefully that'll come back in. Probably will not. The TQs goes right back up to flat for us again. Uber. So Uber could be another short, but we have such a small piece on right now. Maybe this is the one. Again, heading into earnings today is Uber. I love the stock. I first bought this thing a few quarters ago when we sort of consolidated and broke higher. No, it was right here, actually. It was back in May, yeah. So it was consolidation, break higher on earnings, and we really haven't seen anything like that again. We did just dip down into the two. I didn't even see this, dip down into the 200, but so did many stocks when we all thought our portfolios were dead. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row, upside for Uber, giving a lot of love into today's report. So just pay attention. We'll see what happens with that as there goes Uber. We just actually got stopped, not got stopped, but our last piece just came out there for flat. So we'll stay away from Uber. Like I said, we do not need to be in this one. That is for sure. So out of Uber right now. We'll wait. But Uber, the #1 stock. So yeah, man, we do have, no, it's not fruit salad. You can eat fruit salad and Ubers if you want, I guess. But there it is. We'll drop down some money and get out of there. We don't need it anymore. We're out of Uber. Nice move into the report. Happy to get out. We told you that we had like maybe less than 10% left of that trade, which was true. So now we are out of Uber and just waiting to see if anything else is going on.
You eaten in Uber?
Do I? I don't
never-
think I ever have.
I've never done it either, and I would feel weird about it. And it's not that you should. He said it. I'm like, I don't know. Because I've never eaten in a cab. Something about it that makes me.
No, I don't like eating on the subway. I don't. Well, I haven't been on subway in a while, but subway.
I can't.
Train.
I take the train every single day. I commute in. I can't eat on the train.
If it's a culinary trade, fine, but not like a
No,
transit.
like an actual. The only time I did, there was one day. I've been very fortunate with like commuter trains and not having like ridiculous delays. There was one day where there was a really, really bad delay.
Yeah,
and rush hour train was stuck for like 2.5 hours, or maybe it was close to 3 hours, and it got really like you're hungry. And
That's legit.
And there was like, and I was young at the time, and there was this dude who was like sharing granola bars. And I was like, hell to the yes. So, like, he just passed it out. For whatever reason, this one young cat had like a box of granola bars. And he was sharing with everybody because everyone's so freaking hungry if you've never been in that spot. But that's different. I can't eat a meal on a train. It seems kind of nasty.
Lyft versus Uber.
Like, I'm looking for this to maybe, like, I'm in this trade. And it's like, okay, we're starting to roll over. Like, that's the kind of setup on a weak stock on a normal day. Like, we'd be under VWAP or we'd be stopping me out on a firm. And neither one of those two things is happening. I just jumped into some SoFi shares on this consolidation off the 750 level. So looking for that to continue to the downside. I mean, if you're not going to press higher in the futures, like we just witnessed this entire run up. Right back into 43.8 on the ES and the NASDAQ. Into 15.2. Like, if you're going to roll this over, then I'm just going to look for something with a tight stop that I can scalp back into the bottom that's weak. I can't even find a dip buy that I like. Apple's not moving. I don't think you want to force trades in here. So I'll tell you this much. This is a great time to throw symbols out there because we'll look at anything and everything. I'll pull up the weeklies or whatever it might be. I was looking at Caterpillar over lunchtime because I want to throw some stink bids on that stock. There was something else we were talking about at lunch. It'll come to me. I know there was something that we were like, oh yeah, it was Eli Lilly. Like, yeah, I mean Eli Lilly's having another fantastic day. It's up 5% today, but I was just looking at the channel on Eli on the daily, and I could put up my trade ideas chart, but if you can get the idea. Since it broke out at 480, you have a couple of higher lows. If you were to draw some kind of a trend line that intersected these, like if you break 625, like the next time it gets up into that trend, I'm gonna take at least 10% off. Like I've owned it for a bit, and I only took a trim 10%. I'm looking for a place to get another 10 to 15% off on this stock at some point. D-Lo, Fubo impressed me during this run up. Fubo was the old sympathy Roku play last week.
Right.
Like that was, I don't know. Like, is it really doing anything today? My daily chart. There we go. Yeah. Again, it never really broke out that next level. So it caught the sympathy play. It never broke the next level. Pinterest just broke. Never broke the next level. It needs to get above 325. Holding 3 is a good start. That's not bad, but it needs to break back out and show me that it wants to challenge above that 325. Otherwise, you're just kind of going sideways. So pins, well, the last time I was in a consolidation like this, I took the break and it was good. So I just got the break now. Long at 66. The best thing about a market like this is when 65 breaks, you're going to get 66. It's not always like that, trust me. But in this market, yeah, 65 breaks, you're getting the 1 cent breakout. So here goes Pinterest. I seriously doubt it'll do what it did last time, which was a very, very strong move that made it all the way to the top. I almost feel as if it goes halfway to the top in this market, I'll be perfectly happy. So pins on the break. Let's see how far it can go. Any strong move to the upside probably stinks for Affirm, which I thought was rolling over. Affirm dropped all of, how many pennies did that go Affirm? Like 4 cents, 5 cents in the money. It didn't take it, and now it's threatening to break this top out, which would essentially, if it takes out this local high, it's a 6 cent hit. You know what, really? Looking at the way this market is going, like that's a trade I should have taken out. I should have been already taking some out at 5 cents because that's what this market is giving you. That's a reality of this trade, and I shouldn't have added as it was going down. I should have just stuck with the entry at the high. I like adding sometimes as it starts to work. In this market, you probably don't even want to do that. You just want to stick to your one entry at the best price and then sort of go from there.
Yeah, there isn't. Yeah, I mean, some markets are moving around, and then I just look over and I like find the TQs not doing anything, which is my sort of proxy against this market right now. So let's wait to see what does happen here into the close. People saying they want to go long DraftKings. I mean, I'm not going to hate on that. you know, down here into the 50-period moving average. We're just short at the top. Right there, we would have liked to have gotten more right there, but we did not. Okay, out of Palantir, but not out of everything. We're still short now. We got a better price, 45, because we did get stopped at 45 there, but we should be at 50s, not at 45s. So we will wait on that one for DKNG right now trying to come through. So that's going to be a little bit of a level of concern for me. DraftKings, Palantir right there at 50. If it does pull back in, though, we'll take that profit downside. If we can get anything back into here, 34s or 35s on Palantir, we'll do it. Intel, honestly, man, it's not even doing anything down here at the teens, so we'll have to wait for that one. Let's check out Oracle. Oracle's a stock that we actually shorted and did well on until it broke above 108. Oracle's another one of those names that I really like into my own portfolio. We bought some at 107, I believe, and then again at like 102. It was below 100, and that's when we were like, I don't know, what do we want to do here with this? But we were lucky enough to get away from it, or not lucky enough, but we bought some Tesla instead. But I still do like Oracle under the 50 period. Think we can get going above that. Just real quick here, I'm getting set up for the recap show right now. I mean, I'm still trading. Like I said, you could see what we have on board here, Intel, DraftKings, and whatnot. But today, I know this is going to be a little bit hard to see maybe. Maybe if I can just zoom this in. I don't know, it's not letting me even zoom in on this, but okay, whoopsies, where did it go? Here it is. All right, so we have Vertex Pharmaceuticals, VRTX, that's gonna be a big one. Aftermarket, NXPI, I think has a chance to go on the semis, so we've seen some big movements there. Coterra as energy, and the Perient there, making some moves. Brookfield, Diamondback, so there's a few, but the biggest interest, I feel like I can't even close this, so I don't, maybe there is something majorly wrong with my computer here, as I have no idea what's going on. Okay, so NXPI, here it is right now. We'll have a quick look at that. I mean, it's going to be a big stock. Obviously, we've talked about this in the past. But look at this rally there off the bottom as well. This name's got destroyed. I believe there are more chips or more in the automotives and things like that, like the Internet of Things. So NXPI, we'll see nice move off of the AMD number. We'll see if it can hold that 165 or so. NXPI, and I just gotta, like, see, this is all frozen. Cannot close this.
Well, that's not good.
Right there. So hopefully it doesn't affect anything else. But right there, that's what we're looking at. Should be a fun one today at the close. Only 317. So we'll see if this market wants to get going. Still short the market, which hasn't moved since I put it on. We're into Palantir, Intel, and DraftKings.
Yeah, I mean, SoFi is running 3 cents. Affirm is flat. Just got into pins. That looks like it might break back even to the downside. I'll take that trade 10 out of 10. I was just asked in the chat to look at NCLH and the cruise names by Taz. Taz H in the chat. Yuckity, yuck, yuck, yuck. But 14 short. This is still, it's a short till it's not, and very nasty today. I think you're pretty much done for trading it today. You have support underneath 13, but it's a flat bottom break. I guess looming if it gets to $12 on the daily chart. Oh, yuck. I had no idea these were so bad. I always like to look at CCL. That's the one I'm generally more likely to be trading. And what is CCL doing? Only 3% to the downside. See, CCL's been the stronger one, and even it's starting to give it up. Like, it broke out last week. Can't get to the 50 period and the 200 period. They're at 13 even. Oh, goodness. I should have been looking at this at the open. The 200 period rejection gave you a double top short on CCL, which was a perfect pop and fade trade. So pop and fade, essentially you're gapping up, but you're not through resistance, like overhead resistance. Anyone looking at only a 3-minute or a 15-minute chart, ignoring Friday, thinks it's a gap and a breakout stock. If you see the overhead resistance, the daily chart's showing you resistance with the major moving averages. It tries to break the high, immediately rejects it. You short here with a stop there, and then look for it to just fall. It's one of the easier setups to put on because you know exactly where to get in and get out if you have it set up. But it's been a minute since I've looked at this, but I'm going to write CCL on my, I like to put things on my iPad. It reminds me that tomorrow morning I want to look at levels and possibly trade them. But, Affirm, you're trying to go here. We got into Affirm over VWAP. And it's looking like it wants to stop out locally. So if it breaks this high, I'm just going to get out of Affirm. This will be the 5th time we're in this one today. I like going back to the well on a stock that's worked for me. But even in this market, not much follow through. And if we are bouncing and consolidating higher, then I got to get out of this. Alan's saying squares. So that means seriously? I'm going to cancel more bids on square because I'm not getting that. Patience is not, like everything else you have to be patient for. Apparently just square, you could punch long anywhere. Just hit the buy key and you're good to go on square. I liked it, but I'm not chasing this move. It feels like a bad idea. Maybe we'll get some offers on Pinterest. The only long we got is pins.
I was looking, I mean, some of these oil names have been pretty beat up, man. XOM, Chevron, down to the downside here. So I was looking because Fang is reporting Diamondback Energy later on. CVX, of course, buying Hess. We have XOM going in and buying not PD. Was it PDD? Yeah. No, not Pioneer.
Pioneer, yeah.
PDD, yeah. Pinduo, no. All right, so CVX, look at this move, man. I mean, pretty move to the downside. The largest buyback out there, Chevron, that's 50 billion or something like that. Huge move down into 145. I still think you could buy some of this, but what is USO doing today? We haven't really talked too much about crude. USO, quickly, let's find out for that. I think it was down the last time we sort of mentioned it. Yeah, so back to, well, not now it's down. I guess it must have been up. Crude's making a move back down in rate now. So stock like XLE or XOM could come into play, but of course we are now closed. At 2:30 it closes NYMEX there. So right now not being traded, but USO making a move slightly to the downside right now and just trying to hold this 75. This is not oil's price. This is just USO, United States Oil Fund. 74 looks like it wants to try to hold that. XLE's holding price, now we got out of some of this. Again, we've talked about this. I think it was right about here, 85, right? That's about the daily low on this. We were able to get something out about 92, 91 when it popped back up. Yeah, right back into here, into the 50 period again. That was 90, but we just, yeah, exactly. We just popped up into 92 and you're right. So that's it. So this is the right kind of a hold level here for energy. So I just feel like with everything happening in the Middle East and then hopefully everything gets cleared up. Doesn't look like it. And hopefully more oil-rich nations do not get affected or involved. But XLE, I feel like just bouncing off this 83, 84 seems to be okay. We did get some out when we made that move back up because we were mad when it went back down because the first time we only got pieces out. We got more out on the next time back up, but still fading back. So I'm still long XLE, and I like the energy space, but for how long? Really, okay, first of all, there goes Palantir, by the way. We've got to talk about it because it just broke. Oh, I go there. Oop, gets away. Right there through 50s right now on Palantir. So it just kept on going back up to the upside. So again, flush down the toilet trying to wait for some of these moves to actually do something. So like as Palantir just keeps going up, again, this is why kind of holding the market, not doing anything. So yeah, you got to be in the right names and trade the right momentum. And it's just like Apple, we get stopped out. But see, if we were patient and just waited for the high, then we'd be short somewhere up here and not back to the stop out price again. So it's just like throwing money back and forth, but definitely on the losing side, trying to average into some of these trades. Looks like the market just being flat right now, probably the best spot to sit and wait for something to happen. But yeah, cash right now is probably pretty good, but at the end of the day, there's nothing really happening.
But the thing about it is, it's like the best part about what makes this real is when you look for opportunities, it doesn't mean you're going to find them in the market. But just to give an idea of like the things that I'm looking for, like something breaking a range. So I gave pins a shot because you have a long consolidation. A trade like this was one of the better ones for me last week. Obviously like Thursday and Friday, and it starts to go, but you're not getting much follow through. So I made a mistake on a firm by not taking the first 5 cents when I'm risking that much. Well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that on pins. I'm going to buy in front of VWAP if this is going to trend back into the upside. SoFi's starting to maybe look like it wants to roll. We'll see if that even happens, but I see Let's Go Riot.
Read the Riot Act.
Well, I mean, these names today. So there's already been a bounce off the bottom, but look at the last, this is about, I know this because I looked at Coin, but 30 minutes or so, Riot has an 8-cent range on an $11 stock. And it's not that you could in theory trade inside of that range. Like you actually could have taken 5 cents back and forth on the stock. On a stock that's down 3% with a $1.30, bottom to top range on it, I'm really not thinking I want to take 5 cents on it. It's not that kind of stock for me. But there are other names out there that you could be thinking about that kind of a scalp trade. I'm not really feeling it. And everything feels asleep. So you're looking for something at a key price level. Just going back over to SoFi, like it's showing signs of wicking 750 and rolling back over. But let's be real for a second. Like at this point, ideally, I'm looking for this to resolve itself to the downside. Like if that doesn't happen, meaning the NASDAQ, and if that doesn't happen, this might not go anywhere. A firm might not go anywhere. It's 325. I think I dig in for that trade if we break out the highs, and we'll just be happy that we didn't force a bunch of trades out there, because I don't want to be sitting here telling you that overtrading is the right thing to do. Like you try to pick your spots. If it breaks your stop, it breaks your stop. But if you can't find anything big, then just go for like those small little scalp trades or sit on your hands. Like it's always an option to sit on your hands. As I say that, I'm ringing the register and not looking at gift horses in the mouth on Pinterest. As I said, whoops, look at that wick. I am not expecting pins to get back to 31 on this move. Like that's the kind of stuff it was doing last week. So it gave you some really good opportunities in terms of like good breakouts and consolidation levels. And here, like this was 30.40 all the way into 31.16. It went 70 pennies off of a consolidation breakout. I'd be happy that this thing goes 20. I don't even think it goes that far. So I'm taking the profit and running. Took some at 75. I'll get the last out if it even gets to the mid 80s. With only 35 minutes to go until we get the close, 25 till the imbalances. If you're watching for the first time, we got to be flat at the end of the day as day traders. That's what makes the trades tricky. Like in a non-moving market, if you're a swing trader, well, if you see an entry point, you can swing trade it. For us, it has to be able to win in the next few minutes. Otherwise, what's the point? So you got to be very careful about the trades you make.
Yeah, and be specific with what you want to do. We talked about being the Intel whisperer a couple times, and there it is right there. We'll go chicken dinner winner finally for Intel. Like, come on, man. Like, this is the only one that's going to work here in the afternoon. And it's because I feel like we did exactly what we have tried to do, and that was be patient. So, like, there's Intel again. We took that one. We waited for the top, came in, downside, there it is, right? Everything else, I feel like we kind of forced the action on some of that. Like, you can see my market position. And the TQs is a triple. And that's zeros right now in the money. So it's like just sitting there. But Intel, nice move down, and we get it right back there to VWAP. So this is like, made good decision there, at least by shorting Intel. And we did good because it went right back into that level. And that's the kind of stuff that we need to do more of. Well, that's what we're trying to do. It's just everything is floating against us, as you guys know. This would have been another good trade, but it's like I was just sort of a little bit tired, like we said, of just sitting here and doing the same thing. Like you could have shorted Coinbase right there at VWAP. So again, like I was thinking about it, does it really make sense to do it? It's up on the day. If anything, we could break it and go higher. We're already short Palantir, the market. Now the market's trying to go. We're short Intel. We're short DraftKings. And then all that's really happened throughout this show anyways. Now Uber's trying to make a move down. Uber's still the #1 stock. Was just giving it up. Like Apple, we just shorted here, got stopped out twice. Right here at 179 before eventually. And then look at the patience, Like you wait, you short 35s or 40s into that high. It's the same risk. I take the same 10 cents, 15 cents, 20 cents worth of risk, but it pays off there because of that move. So there it is right there. Wait, be patient. It's good. Like I said, it's a good thing for sure. We have Intel. Where are we going to get out of this market again? Like if the TQs actually want to go, we'll wait for Brendan. He's going to give us it comes from Financial Juice, but we're going to get the market on close indicator very, very soon. This is what it's looking like now from our broker, but again, very stagnant, not much happening. Pins to sell,
well, that's
Citigroup. These are all just going to do what they do. Like again, the last update there, 325. These stocks don't really follow it right now. Like look at Citigroup's a buy. So let's just see if it's doing anything right now. No, so BAC is a buy as well. Western Union. Ford was a name that we hadn't looked at in a while. Wow, that's okay. It's still above 10, so that's nice.
That's about the only good thing about it.
Yeah, we looked at that when it was sub 10. Disney was 85 this morning, back down to 84 and not working out as well. So yeah, not much happening. Now the market wants to go back up. See, it's just this push versus pull. So we're going to have to be as patient as we possibly can be here. And I don't know what exactly that means other than wait for some kind of number to come out and move this thing, and it might be the imbalances.
Yeah, it might be. Like, I think in 15 minutes we're going to, well, 20 minutes we're going to find out. But this time I do get on the bid right in here on firm. It tries to break VWAP. It could not follow through. It bounced off 70, so I just got some out. And if it gets up to the top, short it right off the actual high at 90. If I reload this, it should be in the mid to high 80s instead of at 80. And then just see if it can't roll over. So we're in a couple of shorts. Pins, which I just saw on that imbalance locator. And I'm not saying because it has a sell imbalance that it's going to go down, but I'm no longer on the bid to buy VWAP because I saw that early look sell imbalance, and I am now stopping it out at this local. So it never really went past 63, and we're long 66, but my stop is now underneath that. And that's because of that imbalance. We're getting towards 350. It's already working. No need to add back into it. Like, would I want to buy it? If it's showing an early look sell imbalance, if it dips from here into VWAP, would I want to pick that up going into a potential sell imbalance? No, I'll just, no need to be forcing that trade whatsoever. So I'm going to get away from that bid. We're taking it out if it gets to 85 anyways. I thought there'd be a trade in Apple for me this afternoon, but look at that.
It looks like it's in to buy.
Yeah, like look at Apple. Like, what do you do with, there's not much you can do with this. So we'll stick a fork in this one for today. I feel like this is a definite tomorrow. A in the chat. What up, A? A. Any earnings today? The big one's Uber. You know, we're looking at Uber. Diamondback is aftermarket today.
Uber's before market, of course.
Uber always, yeah. When we say for today, we mean that you'll trade it tomorrow. But NEO, so Brendan mentioned that he looked into Icon and it said NEO's on Wednesday. I looked up when NEO was reporting and got literally 3 different dates from 3 different sources. So I always like to trust, he's saying Wednesday pre-market, and I'm pretty sure it's obviously upcoming. But if anyone has a different source on NEO earnings, that's what I'm interested in this week. It's a little frustrating because it's not the only Chinese ADR where it feels like every single season, earnings season, we're not sure exactly what date they're going to report. That's just how they roll. But it is nasty. It was ugly today. I'd love to see it retest that $7 where it's got a 52-week low. Literally at $7, 700 is that bottom. I think it's going to take earnings for it to get there one more time.
Like, here's an example. Like, we were short on Palantir at 49. It went to 52. We got stopped out right there, and then it drops into 45. So it's like, you know, this is just what's happening right now. Stops getting run and not much happening. So, you know, that's why we'll just look to a stock like an Intel. We could look at an AMD. Intel's a nice move, obviously, to the downside. Tesla, this could be a short again at VWAP, but it's just a matter of, like, do you want to do anything? And we've said, like, you know, sitting here spending some money on some of these names, just going back and forth, hasn't really been the right thing to do. That move up there at 219.50, I think we could probably, we could get involved right now against that 219.50. As long as the NASDAQ's trying to barcode a little bit like that, we'll take that rate now. I feel like, you know, giving it up to 220, you know, probably a little bit too high. That level right there is like 55. You got to give it up a little bit. I'm going to hold this until 220 breaks. I mean, look, again, just giving another try to find something else that's trying to go. Like Palantir, we got stopped out when I feel like we probably shouldn't have. It just went down to 43 right there, not being patient enough. At least Tesla, thing is, if I sit in this, at least there's a chance for it to go somewhere right now. Here it goes. Like, even on 100 shares or something, it's still like, oh my God, trying to go here. So, all right, 219, watch out. We'll short something again near 220 and try to give this maybe to 220.50 or something like that. So we're going to wait here on Tesla as it's trying to go back up to the upside. TSLA moving here.
Yeah, and just thank you. Shout out in the chat to everyone that put in that early look on the imbalances at 618 to buy. We'll let you know if that changes at any moment, but Dish is not bouncing. So I just went over to look. It got to 350, was alerted to that level. It is not showing any signs of bouncing. What an ugly day for Dish. Brendo?
I mentioned this morning, this APLS. There was a Citron hit piece on this, got a big flush down to 41. The company came out almost immediately, like it was planned, just saying, and responded saying it was completely false. Rips all the way back to basically where it was. Citron now doubling down, guys, on this APLS report, saying it's not good for them.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, like, I would know fundamentally whether or not you could deny the report, say this is true or not. However, what else is the company going to say? Like, you're not, like, the moment you're waiting for where a company's like, yeah, you know, you got me. But like, that's not happening when there's a short sell report out. But I will say this, do not, attempt not to be the exit liquidity for these types of moves. Because like, how many times have we seen this where you get the short seller report, it makes the bounce, and if you're selling the bottom on that move, which is right at 10, I mean, it's essentially at 10 o'clock. If you're selling that bottom, I mean, great. If you held it 10% against you, it actually came back and you could have got it flat. But oftentimes, this is the point at which shorts are covering their trades. And that's kind of what it looks like on this one. We'll see what happens with this tomorrow. My rule of thumb for these short sell reports is if it makes any kind of definitive bottom, like 2 days in a row, then look for a relief rally. And that would be it looks like for now, that could either be the 45 level, which you just saw on the daily, or this double bottom at 42. So if it can hold on to either one of those two, ideally it holds on to the higher low, because that's obviously more bullish, then you go for that. But I just, see, this is the problem with this market. It's not giving you much. We got VWAP with 15 minutes to go. I'll get on the offer right in front of that 90 level, like really tight to it on a firm here just for a reload. Because if it's only giving you high 80s down into the low 70s, then that's what you got to try and capture. And this whole rollover back to the lows, the market doesn't seem to want to do that. So you can't sit here hoping that that's going to happen. I still want to play any short that's in play, but you know, when you're doing that, it's just almost a waste of time thinking you're going to get a gigantic move. Bentley saying DraftKings is breaking out. Is it breaking 35? DK?
No, almost. We got out of the last 5% of our DK and G. Okay, yeah, the coin short might have been paying off, that's for sure. And of course, we probably picked the wrong one. Let me see what is happening with Coinbase. Nah, it's still, I mean, this is what I mean. This is a good level there. I picked my poison with Tesla. Same way, we're short right here at 44s right now for Tesla. We got a 7. Like, see, again, you be a little bit patient, getting closer to 220, and that's what. But I need lower, man. I want 219s. I want lower on this. We're bouncing off VWAP right now in the market. Like, is the market going to take it out? Oh, quickly, because the market's not doing anything. Again, I put a better stop. Just this high. Like, I was going to go all the way up here. But, like, again, just this drift. Like, the best we've gotten was short 82. What are we short, 82s or 81s? 81s, out 75s. That's 6 cents. So, like, even me giving this, like, 8 cents, I guess that's fine. This is just the market, so it's fine. But, like, you know, hopefully there will be a move there somewhere. All right, so Intel, we're out, but we can look at that quickly. Nice. Okay, we got double outs right there on Intel, so that was actually pretty good. Didn't even realize we had 2 orders right there. So nice move to the downside for INTC. Just been shorting that. Let's check out what NVIDIA is doing. We know it's November 21st is when you got to pay the piper for NVIDIA. NVIDIA nicely done today, up 1.5%. Fortunately, we have all these crazy wicks. It's near the highs, I believe. Yeah, 459. So you're about $2 away from the high there of the day on NVIDIA. Our chart is a nightmare for it. So we'll switch over to AMD, see if that's looking a little bit better. See, again, bouncing off VWAP. Like, I would think that this, again, would be a decent short, especially for a name. This is probably the better one. It's too bad. We're already short Tesla. Tesla paying off. But this is good because it's down on the day. So that's the difference, right? If the market gives it back, you have AMD that we know is already pretty weak, one of the top stocks here traded, and it's because of these shorts. So we had an opportunity to get short again right there. Did we get something out on Tesla? No, we did not. Tesla just went in the money well, not briefly. It's in the money, but it went in the money down here to 219.30. Yeah, we were short there at 44s, so it looked a little bit better than maybe it was. Just dancing around, maybe the spread opened up. But right now, we're going to wait to see what Tesla's going to do. Look at it bounce off this 21 period. Right, shout out to Max, he gave me that one. 219.15, just kind of bouncing around. I like to look at the 50 period moving average, so we need to get at least back down here to 218.50. But I do have some bids out here for 40 cents. If we can get that on Tesla, man, at this point, probably good enough. In the morning, probably wait. But if we can get that now on Tesla, we should take it, man. It's 338. And honestly, with not too many big names coming to report, I don't think that there'll be too much positioning here into the close. Market's been flat. We are right where we opened on the market, right? This is where we opened, right here. There is the opening wick higher. So
it's insane.
We opened at 15,204. Current market, 15,203 half. So the market, if you just woke up right now, you would think that you hadn't missed anything and you're not far from being correct.
I
So-
saw Dan Emmons say that in the chat about like 30 minutes ago. And actually, I wanted to credit because a few people, Curtis in the chat just pointed this out, saying the Qs seem like they're rejecting a trend. And I 100% agree. Like I've been drawing trend lines on a lot of things on the daily chart recently, looking for a break of that trend for more explosion to the upside. Oh, you got the lower highs in there. You never really got to the top. And again, drawing a trend line isn't science, but you are still rejecting this today. I mean, it was a very, very strong bounce the last week and a half or so, and you're not taking out that top. I think this is why we're not punching through. Like too many things are at resistance levels. As I say that, DraftKings is super strong. Like this is really, this is punching through on the daily. It should get through 35. I'll tell you right now, I am not taking a 35 break at 340. It is way too late in the day for that. This is the kind of trade, however, if we're above 35 tomorrow on DraftKings, I would be looking for the long. That is a clear out on the daily chart, as strong as it happens to be. We're going to handle some business in a second at the desk, but I wanted to double check. It's only 5.5 short float, but so what? Like that's a juicy looking breakout for DraftKings. And if you throw up the weekly chart, it's got room to $40. So let's go to the desk and handle some business.
Brought to you by IG.com. Trade Forex pairs like Euro USD with spreads as low as 0.8 pips and zero commissions at IG. Terms and conditions apply.
Brendo, consistent as always. Thank you for the comment there, and quite frankly, the concern, Zion, in the chat. Were you sad this morning for the Bills? They were playing the GOAT. What GOAT exactly were the Bills playing? I'm very curious as to that. Last time I checked, Tom Brady stopped playing football. So don't tell me about Joe Burrow being the GOAT. I have no time for that. I wasn't sad this morning. I was sad last night because I was watching the game. So there you go. That being said, they didn't deserve to win. I am the biggest Bills homer that you're going to find in the world. They didn't deserve to win, and right now they don't look like a team that can win a playoff game. They're a talented enough team to do it, but they don't look like a team that can win a playoff game. And you know how much it hurts me to even have to say that, but the truth is the truth. And, sometimes you got to be – I'm not usually the kind of Bills fan that's going to accept that kind of a truth, but it is what it is. We like to have fun. Like you saw me. Like, I was on the after show talking about who they going to beat them Bengals. Right? Like I was running my mouth like it was going out of style. So I deserve all that smoke and probably even more of it. But don't sit there and tell me that Joe Burrow is the GOAT. He is a good player having a good season and a good start to the career. And I like the guy. I have nothing against him. I think, I actually don't have anything against Cincinnati, except for the fact that they're now a rival of my Bills. But I am now punching out of pins because it just failed at 380, 3080. I did not think this was a move that was going to go back into the high, so I ain't looking any gift horses in the mouth. Is what it is. It broke a consolidation top. There's not much moving at this point. So when this broke the consolidation, it's like, fine. This gives you at least something to work off of. VWAP's at 60. You're taking a 65 breakout. It got to 80. Fair enough. At 1-to-1, 2-to-1, and 3-to-1, you take it out and then go from there. A firm doing absolutely nothing, but it is what it is. Pins is a bad buy. JK, on a swing, I'd agree with you. And the reason for that, I think, is obvious. But as a day trade, look, it gave me a breakout that worked. But on a day trade, I can't even think about why the way this stock is traded, why you would want to buy this off of these highs. Makes no sense. This has been unbelievably weak in terms of breaking out, so why wouldn't you always just wait for it to dip? When the stock dips, it goes 20% or so, and then it does nothing and consolidates and then bounces. So if you're really enamored with Pinterest, then buying the dips has been the way to go on the stock for a while. One day, I don't know when it's going to be, this could actually break out. Show me that you're above 32, hold that for a week or so, and then I'll believe the stock is breaking out. Some things have to hold on a weekly for me to believe they're going. Pinterest is firmly in that category, but thankfully for a day trade, you don't have to agree. Who cares? You can just take a day trade off of any kind of level like this, and I don't have to worry about whether it's going because I'm in and out in the next 15 minutes. I might just punch out of a firm with only 15 minutes to go here, and I'm going to cancel this offer. Like, where is this going? Like, it's just, if it wants to take out this high, I'll just get out if it takes out the 90. No need to try and force the trade. I got one fill in the bid as it looked like it was breaking VWAP, and then absolutely nothing. And I feel the same way about SoFi as well. Like, SoFi is going sideways since the re-entry on this trade, not moving, not giving you anything. No need to force it there. Bill Cook in the chat, Bengals and Joe fan here. You know what's interesting about, there's a friend of mine in my fantasy football league, and he's a big I love college football, and he's a big college football fan too. And I was watching Joe Burrow midway through his final year at LSU, and I remember I messaged the guy and I said, "This is the best college quarterback I've seen since Peyton Manning." That was like, I have not seen, like, I'm talking about in terms of like reading a defense. I'm like, he is basically playing like Tom Brady, but more athletic, and that's what he looked like at LSU. Like, I like Joe Burrow. I just really hate it when he's beating our team. The dude is an incredible talent. I hate having to say that. But finally, you're getting some actual moves here.
That's why I just hit it, because like, awesome, finally the market starting to go down here, and Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow is awesome, but we hit the awesome because the market was starting to get down, and I just refilled my water bottle and spilled some on me as I chugged it to get back over here quickly. Now the market's heading to the downside, so finally. But again, remember we talked about picking which stock you want to trade? Like, look at the TQs, again, doing nothing. That's fine, we should have put a bid there. What is that? Where is that? 74, okay. But look at what's happening to Tesla. So right now, there's Tesla. We could almost put another dollar club back into here. So again, we'll lose shorting Palantir like an idiot, basically, all the way up to 1850. Well, whatever, it's okay. But look what's happened to Apple. And again, sometimes it's like you got to adjust your stops based on the time of day, and share size accordingly based on the time of day. Like, I wanted to short Apple, it's fine, and I think we are 100% right by doing it. Just not at the right time and not at the right share size where I had to punch out. Like, if you're going to use the high of the day as your stop, like I said I was going to do on the market, I should have done the same thing for Apple. And of course, trading is hindsight. But if we just wait, and I put on the same trades here, but I just wait up there, and again, I don't know up here is coming, so I shorted in front of 179, but it breaks. Then you're able to benefit from this. So just look at the opposite trading here, like what's happening right now in Tesla. We waited for it to get to VWAP this time. It did. We shorted it, and now we can reap the rewards of that trade, right? And so that's sort of the difference there. Like, we just got filled at 80 there on Tesla. So that was a pretty good trade off of the short 50s, right? So not bad there as, the market's trying to settle itself down. It's now only, it was 600 to buy. Now it's 55 million to sell. So as this market turns itself around a little bit here, let's put something else on the bid at 03s. There it is. We'll get another piece out there. As this market tries to turn maybe maybe sell side, you're seeing some of these names start to come in just a wee bit. And there's Intel again. Look at that move up to Intel, then right back in again. So yeah, as this day comes to an end, we're going to have to start to piece some of these out. And it's a good move there for Tesla. And we're going to get another piece out. We'll put a bid at a 97 right here for Intel. Hopefully that fills out as well. Checking in on Tesla, 218. Where's that little right there? 218 O's. Okay. We don't have any more bids. We got to put something out right now. 218.20. Let's go there for Tesla.
I'll tell you this much: when you try to find things that move, Square was the right name, and we got to think about this as being out of the doghouse for at least maybe this week, because I'm looking at the market do absolutely nothing, and Square just essentially like linear move to the upside. Like, that is a nice. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's a 45-degree angle, but it's a very linear move. Like, there's no crazy spikes. It is just gliding higher the entirety of the afternoon. And after having that gap up on earnings, it's doing exactly what I want to see as a next step, which is hold on to 48. As long as this market doesn't puke all over itself this week, I don't see why this can't get back at least to 52, 53. Up 2%, and this is the strongest thing I was watching this afternoon. And I'm just mad at myself that I wasn't more aggressive into it. But it is what it is. This is a more gimmicky trade. It's just easier to put on because it's breaking an obvious level. But Square is the better trending trade. You always want to make sure you're in the better trade to be sure. But Elon, I didn't get it. Sometimes you look at something, and it's one thing to say you think a stock's going up and that it's strong. That's an observation. A trade is finding an entry and an exit. right? So you always want to make sure you're completing it. And I know exactly what I would do next or do differently, and I think it's relatively obvious. Like, I was looking for this pullback into VWAP. When it broke out this local high, I should have just taken this long right in here at 49 even. I could have taken the long at 49 even, given it to 48.80, 20 cents worth of risk, and the stock had plenty of upside to go, and it showed me that when the market wasn't moving. But those imbalances now being a sell, no new positions because there's like 30 seconds till the imbalances come out. I don't necessarily think, I don't think there's going to be a big imbalance on Uber or anything like that, but we always try to keep an eye on these just in case you do get a little something. Pinterest had an early look 1 million sell imbalance. So Pins and Uber are the two that I'll be watching right at 350. Just curious to see what happens there. $1 million on Pins, it's only done 7 million on the day. So in theory, if it comes out that big, it would be a relatively decent sized imbalance for Pinterest.
All right, so we just bounced around 70s right there, so we're almost $1 in the money now on Tesla. So we'll put a bid out there and see if we can get it. There's a nice little bounce up there. See? Things that make you go, right there for Tesla.
Oh, right, Twinkie
on a nice move upside right there. So let's go check out the imbalances, as that's what's moving this market right now. So let's get rid of this. We'll activate it just to get NASDAQ and New York. And you can see, yo, what up, Twinkie? I guess that buyout's getting close.
Yeah, it's closing tonight.
Closing. So there's Intel as well on the buy, but we've already bought that stock out of our position right now. We did miss the opportunity for Tesla, but that hopefully can come back in. It's a 1.3 billy, a milli billy on the bid right now. It's Apple upside here, starting to get going with this market as well. AMD up, PayPal up. All of these stocks seem to be buy side. I mean, we don't really have any sells whatsoever. We've got AT&T. I don't even know why I clicked on that. That's not going to move the stock. Kenvue, maybe. Nothing going on there. But yeah, all buy side right now.
Except for Pins.
In these markets, yeah. So let's take another piece out on let's not another one. We'll get.
And we meant Hostess. I mean, you guys know what we mean. It's,
yeah.
It's not Twinkie. It's Hostess being bought.
Yeah, I mean that's the symbol.
It's the symbol is Twinkie.
So that's good. Okay, there it is right there. We did take another piece out on Tesla, as it's just not moving around, unfortunately, for your boy. So we're going to put a stop now at 220, see what happens there, because I got to get over to the other desk at some point and get rocking with that. So right now, all is well, man. It's Twinkie, it's BAC, it's Ford, it's Pins, it's Intel, and it's Tesla right now with a 65% winner.
Wow, DraftKings. That stock is
taking off.
Arrows up. It broke 35. It's now absolutely gonzo. So up 4%. I mean, Square's having, you can make an argument. It's probably about the same percentage move. Both those, like Square and DraftKings, were probably the two strongest stocks I looked at this afternoon. Gonna have to respect that, but it's not just them. Meta's a double bottom. It wasn't Meta, it was something else I was gonna get to. Now I already forget about it. I already forgot. There was something else I wanted to show that was showing some signs of strength. There was a question, Dan McIsaac asking to see the earnings board once again. We can certainly do that. I think, we've mentioned it a couple of times here. I don't know if we can get that up again. Uber is the big name. No questions. That's before market tomorrow. We've still seen multiple things for NIO, and it's normal to have every earnings season. NIO, you can't lock down a date. There's like multiple sources. So we've seen, Brendan said Wednesday. I've seen people say tomorrow. I've seen people say tonight. My answer is I don't know. Usually I'll come in the morning, and then we'll see NIO report in the morning one day, and then we'll go from there. I think it's ridiculous. I think how hard can it be to lock down a day to report earnings? You'd think that would be simple, but apparently it's not for them. It is what it is. TripAdvisor, Diamondback's probably the one. I think we keep an eye on that one after the close for the energy names. Goodyear, no one seems to care about that stock anymore. But TripAdvisor, Uber, tomorrow morning is definitely the big one to be sure. But Diamondback Energy and Uber, that's what I'm watching.
Yeah, Fang a little bit there. We're just going to get out of Tesla if it goes back to anything above 219.50. So we've already rang the register on this one. And this is what I'm talking about. It's like just taking trades, even just near the end of the day. you know, they can start to be profitable ones. You just got to find the right names. We gave some money back this afternoon on Palantir, although it's kind of floating where it is right now. We gave some money back on Apple this afternoon, as well as that floated back. But we did make some money, obviously. As you can see, we just punched out of Intel right there. That was a good winner that we had put on for you in the afternoon. We had DraftKings this whole time to the downside before getting out of flat. As that ripped up, did not average into that one. Uber was fantastic. Trade that happened there at about 1 o'clock back down in. We'll wait to see earnings on Uber as that's coming out. But yeah, big buy imbalance came out there. So we'll have to wait to see. So 1.3 billion buy side there. As we'll wait, we've got another fill on Tesla. So that's another 50-cent money trade right there. And like I said, it doesn't take that much to get back in. Like right there, just this trade on Tesla, all of a sudden, fourth now on the radar here for P&L off this one stupid little trade off of the VWAP back in, taking nearly $1. My best fill was 75s on this trade. We're short, well, we were short 68 or something like that. Now it's showing 72. So let's see if we do have a move down. I'm bidding in the 60s where we already got filled, hoping that it will crack through. If not, we're going to get out at 50 for flat, 10 seconds, and then we're going to get a flip over of these imbalances most likely, and the market could head to the south side. Let's see what happens in 3, 2, and 1. It's 355, and okay, some names flipped over there. The market didn't do much. So I don't think a lot of the big tech names, although here we come in the back in for Tesla. So once again, here's a 75-cent winner, right? So good move back for Tesla. You know where we're bidding. Let's see if this can get back to the dollar club, but only 5 minutes left, and then this day, she done.
Yeah, Pins actually paired off there, which I think was expected. It was not even remotely behaving like it wanted to be a 1 million sell imbalance. It just continued to go to the upside. This is the reason, like, again, like not trying to force any trades. There wasn't much out there. I got reloads on a couple stocks we'd already traded, and then Pinterest was a new one on that break, and that's about the only thing that cleanly moved. Square cleanly moved in one direction. I'm now at a SoFi, and that's, you know, we could have rolled over, but essentially a flat trade in the afternoon from something that we were in a lot earlier. This is exactly the kind of market that I don't think you want to necessarily overtrade in. But with only 4 minutes to go, my eyes will be on DraftKings, Uber. DraftKings, because it's breaking that high, nothing but strength in this name. It's not like, look, they already reported. It's just nothing but strength. And if you're looking at for motivation for tomorrow or things that you don't think will barcode, just find something that moved in the afternoon today, broke into new ranges today, and that's a good place to start for tomorrow. James Choi putting in the chat, plug. I mean, it bounced off 6. Hey, got to VWAP. Good for you, plug. It did move this afternoon. Just plug had a really bad day. I mean, DraftKings obviously a heck of a lot stronger today than plug. Ryan saying, let's go, Palantir. Yeah. Let's go, like John Boy is always saying. I love John Boy. But Palantir with a great bounce off 18 even, I still think it's a short at 19 until it breaks back out again. You know, every dollar level is a good one. So 19 was the top on Friday. If you were trading this one, I mean, on Friday we had a couple of shorts at the 19 level. Each time it got there was for less and less, but it was still a pretty good level. Good bounce for Palantir, but I still think that 19 is going to be a little bit of a short. AMC should be spicy, Tobes. They report. I thought AMC was Thursday. Maybe they're Wednesday. That could be. I could be wrong about that. I thought AMC was Thursday, but they are this week. Maybe AMC is Wednesday. I could be wrong about that. I'll double check that one myself. But AMC should be in play. You want things with a catalyst. I'm just loving what I see with that DraftKings. I also think that Apple, it came in this morning thinking 178 was going to be a short level, up 1.4% into essentially a flat market. It's held on to the 50, the 200, and it's making a run at the 180. So Apple looks like it's on the nice little bit of a rebound. The fact that Berkshire got dumped off on a day where Apple is strong is a little bit curious, but hey, I can live with that. I don't mind. Microsoft, another good one. Tobias in the chat pointing them out. Microsoft, a good, strong name today. Maybe not as strong as Apple on the session, but on the daily chart.
Congratulations!
I mean, this is the one. It's actually further away from the 52-week high. I mean, it's 366.80 something, I want to say. Actually, I thought I wrote it down. 366.78. I did write it down when Sean said it this morning. So it's like $10 away from that 52-week high. Can it get there? Well, the trend's telling you it can. If the Qs are going to break that trend line we talked about, Apple looks very enticing to make a move. I think Microsoft would get back into some of those highs. Look for the stocks that are showing you signs of strength. I think Intel's trying to get you to a channel top. I'm a little more skeptical about something like NVIDIA because they haven't reported yet, but certainly a lot of these big cat tech names have already reported, are giving you some indications of levels to play off of. With a minute to go here, guys, we're not going to get any new trades. It's been a fun day today, but one that you did not want to be over trading on. The trend was great early, and then you had to hang on to your shorts. And from there, try not to overtrade and then give the profits back that you had in the morning. And then look to only the big levels out there. Dave, you're right. Diamondback does report. They're another name we're going to have our eyeballs on. Some consolidation in the energy industry has lent a little bit of, I guess, stability to some of these names. This daily chart not wanting to low, but they have been on a bit of a pullback. But pullback into support is where this one is headed. As in 30 seconds, I think we're going to have a Dara on the bell here. And Steve G's reminded me, oh my goodness, we don't have a lot of time for this, but I forgot to do this.
Subscribe, and share the show that takes you into the heart of the market every day.
I had to, contractually obligated to 3 times a day, have Sharif remind you to hit the like, hit the subscribe. You're not going anywhere in 15 seconds, but what is going to happen is this market is going to close, and then we're going to head to Sean at the desk. But Adara is there. Fantastic job trading today. Since she's shorted, we've liked what we've seen. In 3, 2, and 1. And I'll be the first to say, like, I think it's, for a lot of traders, you start out not necessarily, you only go long, you favor long trading. Shorting is something that psychologically it can be different, but really as a day trader, it's exactly the same thing, and that's something you want to work into. I'm glad Adair is doing that and having a fantastic job doing it. Shout out as always. We had some technical difficulties that both Fabian and Ramin worked through fantastically with the entire team, Rob, Randy, and Mark helping us throughout the day. Thank you guys for your patience with that in the morning. Shout out, of course, to Sharif and Obi, despite the fact that Sharif runs his mouth about the Cowboys, doing a fantastic job on that midday, and stay tuned for some changes on the midday that are up and coming. Always want to say a big thank you to Brennan, doing a great job giving us that news at the desk, and to our guest this morning, Michael Noss. You know who I am, and you know where you're going. You're headed right on over to the desk. You got Uber tomorrow morning, but you got Fang after the bell. Let's get that market recap with Sean.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining me for the market recap. Normally I'm like, oh man, what a crazy day for trading, but honestly, wasn't that active all in all, but we'll review